Welcome to the Brand Groupies podcast. My name is Carrie Bellog, your host and founder and CEO of Brand Groupies. Launched in 2018, this podcast shines a spotlight on the ultimate insiders, the Brand Groupies, powering the ever-evolving built world. Each episode dives into the stories, passion, and creativity driving national leaders in architecture, design, real estate, and beyond. As a women-owned strategic communications agency, we've spotlighted visionary executives for over a decade, leveraging social media, public relations, and podcasting as an interconnected ecosystem to build brand visibility and drive business growth. We make our clients impossible to ignore. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brand Groupies podcast. Today, we're honored to welcome Sandy Crisafulli. She is the president of Caryl Communications, an award-winning New Jersey-based public relations and marketing communications firm. With nearly 35 years of agency and client-side experience, she has a proven track record of helping B2B and B2C organizations clarify their goals and execute strategic, story-driven communications. Sandy joined Caryl Communications in 1992 and became the firm's second owner in 2022. Over the years, she has held key roles across content strategy, media relations, account services, and operations, giving her a uniquely 360-degree view of what clients need to succeed. Founded in 1984, Caryl Communications serves a diverse roster of clients across commercial and residential real estate, skilled nursing, senior living, professional services, and retail. Under Sandy's leadership, the agency remains committed to top-tier service, customized strategies, and helping clients tell great stories that fuel business growth, even as technology rapidly reshapes the PR landscape. Outside of work, Sandy enjoys time with family and friends, renovating her 135-year-old Kingston, New York home, supporting independent musicians, and experimenting as a passionate silversmith. That's incredible, Sandy.
Yes, it is. More to come on that, I think. But,
yes.
Well, we'll reserve judgment on the silversmithing.
Well, we're excited to hear more. So thanks again for being a guest. We connected, I think, a few months ago at a big women's conference, and we just instantly hit it off. So we're thrilled to have you.
Yes, thank you for having me here. And you know, really, your presentation at that women's conference was incredible. So I had to introduce myself, and I'm so glad that I did, because I agree. There's a nice synergy.
Oh, we're so glad you did as well. So you've been with Caryl Communications for more than 30 years, and now you're leading it as the company's second owner. Tell us how this journey has been for you.
I joined Caryl Communications in 1992, which immediately dates me. I was the firm's first full-time writer. I was about a year out of college. I had come out of school thinking that I was going to take the world by storm as a journalist. Quickly realized that I was far too lazy, and to this day remain that 1 year. I am so in awe of that profession and what they do, but I was not cut out for it. So, you know, I entered the PR space really with no formal training. Caryl Dixon, the company's founder, was an incredible mentor. I cannot say enough for what she did to get me my start and really teach me most of what I know today. But I worked as the first full-time writer. I moved into account service. I took on a VP role, mid-90s. I ended up switching gears when my kids were young, and I took on a more part-time position, focused back on writing, and I was working from home. So 1998, there was no remote working. I was remote working before that was even a thing. Again, giving Caryl a ton of credit. So, you know, my day I had an office in the basement, and one of my main forms of communication was fax machine, right? So again, I've already dated myself. It was back when fax machines had that like roll of paper and
I
not the
remember.
individual slices. And so I would go down kind of into the cave in the morning, and there would just be like 25 feet of rolled out paper across my basement floor. And that it was really high tech.
Wow. At the time it was.
At the time, it was really high tech, but we made it work. And slowly over the years, I took on, again, more account supervision. I got involved in the operations, and mid 2020, we know that was a challenging time. Caryl called me one day and said, I'm really thinking I'm ready to retire, and I'd like you to take the company into its next chapter. So I had spent, Carey, 12 years becoming very feral. It was a little overwhelming to think about, but I knew it was an extraordinary opportunity. So, we made a plan, and a little over a year later, I bought the company, and here we are 4 years later.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
quite the journey. And,
It's been a trip.
as PR has evolved, I mean, there's been countless chapters. So, as you mentioned, you've held so many roles, over the years: writer, strategist, media specialist, COO, and owner. How have all those experiences shaped the way you lead the firm today?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I think the roles all taught me critical basic skills and gave me a chance to grow those skills. Also taught me to be nimble. And of course, that's really in an industry where change is one of the only constants. That's been an important skill, I think, that carries through. PR, when it's done well, is really hard. And I think having been, been there, it really helps me understand some of the pressures and challenges that my team faces. It also, gives me insight into, what kind of opportunities they can leverage and how to drive results. And the bottom line is, I'm still in the trenches. We're a boutique firm. That means the principal, on some level, is still involved in account service with the clients, and that's still, that's sort of my core. That's still my passion. I love servicing clients, so it works well. But I think that's, I think all of the steps kind of led to the leader that I am today, and how I'm taking the company forward, sort of at that ground level.
Sure, that makes total sense. And you've been around, the agency's been around since 1984, which is very rare in the PR world. What do you think it is that has allowed Caryl Communications to thrive for so long, and what continues to set your firm apart?
Yeah, so, I've mentioned Caryl Dixon. This company had such a solid foundation with her leadership. And always from day one, she emphasized the importance of relationships. And that's still, for me and the team, what it's all about, right? So, I like to call myself a for lifer. I'm here, I'm homegrown. And, that's true for many of our team members, long-term team members, and our clients. I mean, we can count our years together in decades.
Wow.
in many cases. And that's really important to me. And I think that's a a core of this company that will never change. At the same time, we're very focused on change, right? And embracing what's good in that, because the industry has changed so much over the past 4 decades. And I think that change is good mindset really helps to keep things fresh and moving forward.
Yeah, it's incredible. Congratulations on such long-term clients. And we definitely agree, relationships are everything. So it's really great to hear. And, our team often talks about the power of great storytelling. And of course, it's from our PR backgrounds as well. And I know you often discuss the value of storytelling too. In your view, what separates a good story from a truly strategic, results-driven one?
So there are a lot of good stories, right? Every story is a good story that's told. I really think the key is taking something from being simply interesting to being something that conveys value, and that isn't it's not mutual, like it's not mutually exclusive. Like in most stories there is value, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise they wouldn't be told. So it's kind of marrying that, um, but also you've got to put stories together that will capture a reader or listener or viewer's interest. I like to give it the old test of, one, what is it? Two, who cares? And three, why do they care? Right? If it doesn't pass those, if you can't answer those three questions, you're not ready to tell. So it's really bringing something from being interesting to being both, conveying the value behind it and to
Mhm.
be compelling. And I think that
Sure.
that's sort of the secret sauce.
Yeah, that's so true. And what is your top piece of advice for organizations, who are looking to tell their story more effectively?
Oh, that's pretty straightforward. And actually, I feel more important currently as things are changing than ever before. And that's to
Mhm.
embrace authenticity,
Mhm.
right? I
Sure.
think that's what makes an organization's or a person's story so unique. It's the authentic nature of it. It's individual.
So the PR industry is going through quite a transformation, especially technology-wise. How are you guiding your firm through those changes, and what opportunities are you most excited about looking ahead?
Transformation, that's a bit of an understatement, I feel. It really is crazy right now with the speed of AI, um, you know, bringing both opportunities and challenges to the table. It's figuring out how to harness that, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Um, I do feel the PR industry is at an inflection point. It's gonna, what today looks like is not what 5 years from now is going to look like, and I think that we've got to grow, and
mhm,
I feel that boutique PR agencies have an advantage here. Not I do not compare myself to a large agency. That's not what we're about. But if you think about the agility, right? It's like turning around, pivoting a speedboat versus pivoting a cruise ship, right? And we can be nimble that way. I think that word has already come up once. Nimble is really that's an attribute of a boutique
mhm,
model. Um, I think too, we're very used to resourcing. We've been doing it, right? So
mhm,
most boutique agencies focus on a niche market, um, or a niche service. And we have clients that we want to help them with others. So we're very good at sourcing and resourcing, finding those partners that can help us like thread a needle
mhm,
for a specific client need. And I think the same is true here. We're not going to figure out AI. We're going to resource with those who have figured out and will continue to figure
mhm.
out what's next with,
Sure.
how we can, leverage all of this amazing knowledge, these new tools. And, one of the things that we've done in that area, about a year ago, we joined this amazing global networking group of small firms. It's called PR Boutiques International. It's
Mm,
like 25 or 30, like-minded, owner-led PR agencies, literally from around the globe. And the hive mind alone there is awesome. And we've spent a lot of time in 2025 talking about AI best practices, AI tools, how we can be faster and better, how we
mhm,
can continue to work ethically, um,
mhm.
and really keep that people power, which is what makes us so capable and so valuable to our clients, that people power, how do you keep that front and center?
Absolutely.
Right. And move on. So I see a huge amount of opportunity. It's a little scary,
Yeah.
I think, but
Mhm.
it's not just, it's everywhere. Everybody, we're all in it together. We're all learning
Yes.
this together. But
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yes, that's a great point. I think there is opportunity, that human, to human connection can't be taken away. So I think, as PR professionals, it's definitely, something to keep in mind as we move forward and navigate this world of AI. Um, and so Sandy, you've worked across so many sectors, from commercial real estate and retail to professional services. What communication challenges are most common across the different industries, and how do you help clients overcome them?
Yeah. So I really think the universal challenge is cutting through the noise,
Yes.
right? And
Yep.
being heard, because competition is is out there, and it's not going away. And it's cutting through the noise, but also finding the right channels to make that happen. Um, it really starts with strategy, and that's where we come in. That
Mhm.
that keeps me in business.
Yes.
Helping clients identify their goals, opportunities, their pain points, right? That's a big one. Like, what's not going right, and how do we make that better for you? And then
Mhm.
developing a communication plan that can take those elements, move them from point A to point B, um, and get their voices out there.
Yeah. So, as someone who has helped countless businesses and leaders raise their profiles, what advice would you give to leaders about the value of increased visibility?
I think we need to adapt that question to increased quality
Yes,
and purposeful
sure.
visibility. There's certainly plenty of visibility out there we like to avoid, and we help clients with that too. But that's probably a conversation for another day.
Yes.
Um, in terms of value, you can choose to stay quiet. Your competitors won't. So, I think that today, again, I talked about there's increased channels, right? So everybody can be out there. Everybody can be seen and heard. There's the peso model of communication, which you're probably familiar with, but it's, what are the paid channels, what are the earned channels, owned channels, shared
Mhm.
channels, and I think I just
Sure.
messed the
Yeah.
acronym up. But
Well,
it's you have your website, you have your email marketing, you've got your social media. Um, Everybody paid advertising, and now with digital, I mean, how inexpensive is that?
yeah.
So there are so many ways to reach audiences. Your competitors know that too. And I'll just a comment on earned media, right? That's still the gold standard. I happen to be a little bit biased because that's our bread and butter, but earned media really still is so important. What others say about you is more valuable than what you say about yourself.
Mhm.
That's just the bottom line. We're seeing that AI search is prioritizing earned media, which is really great for us in this business when we're trying to shout that messaging from the rooftops. Um, I think a piece of advice. I was at a networking event a couple of weeks ago, and I was with one of those strategic partners that
Mhm.
we have, a great branding and marketing agency, and she introduced me to somebody she's worked with, and being more forward than I am, because I tend not to. She said, "Hey, who do you use for PR? This is Sandy." And it kind of flummoxed
Uh-huh.
gentleman said, "Well, we don't really have a lot. We don't have enough to need to do PR, kind of
Mm.
thing." And I get that, right? So you know a lot of companies don't need a big agency on a very costly monthly retainer for the couple of times a year that they really have something to shout from the rooftops.
Mhm.
My advice would be, don't not do it, right? Find the right partner to do it. call a boutique. Listen, we work with clients of all sizes and in all capacities. So, and also there are stories to tell, even if you don't know that. So
Yes,
my
you'll find
advice
them.
would be, give it a try.
Mhm.
Find somebody and give it a try.
Great advice. Thanks, Sandy. So you've been praised for Caryl Communications' customized high-touch approach. What does top-tier service look like to you in 2025?
And has that changed from
And has that changed?
2024, right? So,
Looking forward, yeah.
I think excellence in service in this industry and probably many others, it's listening to your clients with curiosity, and with care. I think it's responding thoughtfully, taking time if that's required to respond thoughtfully, and really just remaining energized and committed to driving great results. Those are sort of the cornerstones. Of course, you want the great skill. We have the great skill, but you've got to be passionate about helping your clients do well.
Sure. And share with us a few examples of your clients and industries.
Sure. So in the built space, in commercial
Sure.
real estate, we proudly represent the Northeast Office of Crow Holdings Development. They are just some of the most creative folks out there building industrial, right? And not simply your typical industrial in many cases. We work with Prism Capital Partners, another great developer based in North Jersey. They are the masterminds behind the On3 campus, which is the former Hoffman LaRoche North American headquarters up in Clifton and Nutley. That project is going on a decade since purchase, and they have created such an incredible environment there, and it just keeps getting better. Mixed use, live, work, play, education, life science, retail. It's just so cool.
Awesome.
So they keep me busy. We work with Garden Communities, very active high-end multifamily developer. They're an institution in New Jersey, and NIOP, New Jersey, which we've talked about. So they're the Commercial Real Estate Development Association's New Jersey chapter. I learned so much from every program I go to, every person I talk to. I mean, talk about the cream of commercial real estate involved in that organization. So we've actually been working with NIOP New Jersey for over 25 years. So
wow.
We've watched them evolve. We've watched the industry evolve. It's exciting. Let's see, Lee and Associates, which is an active brokerage firm throughout the state, part of it's the local arm of the national organization. We're really all over the place. We've got property managers, brokers, developers, owners across sectors too. So we're in it.
You're in it. Well, it says a lot about your team and everyone with those long-standing relationships, and you're true partners, really, with the clients. So outside of your PR career, you have these amazing things going on, renovating your historic home, supporting indie musicians, making jewelry. Do these passions give you balance? And on the flip side, do they help you at work?
The short answers are yes and yes. I feel like my crazy hobbies, they feed different needs for me. So I'm a person who I really thrive on creating order out of chaos, and that's why I love PR, because we do a lot of that. But I also think it likely contributed to my husband and I making a decision to buy a very old, very outdated, but gorgeous home here in Kingston. In the process of putting the old girl back to rights, one of my most favorite acquired skills is that I'm now very proficient at patching lath and plaster walls. So if I ever quit my day job, I may become a plasterer. The indie music part, that's really fed my social life and my soul since we were in college. Uh, Again, my husband, Al, and I are fortunate to be part of that community. When we were still kids, in our
Yeah.
early 20s, we started a little independent record label
No way.
that is still going, right? So
What?
it's 33 years
What's it
later, it's still
called?
going. It's Dromedary Records.
Okay.
It,
Drama.
we,
Wait, drama. Say that again. Rama?
Dromedary, like the
Oh,
camel.
dromedary. Okay.
Records. So it's wonderful. And I was very
Wow.
active. Al's really he's the man behind it. I'm more of a super fan these days.
Oh my gosh.
He keeps it going. But they talk about lifetime friendships. So
How
that really
cool.
is it's a special part of our life. All right. So yeah, as for the silversmithing thing, right?
Yes.
You mentioned that at the beginning of the call. I've always been a craft nerd and always will be a craft nerd. So I started taking lessons in metalworking about a year and a half ago with this incredibly talented artist. She's amazing. It is so gratifying. I love it.
Uh,
As for the outcomes, let's just say that this has gone a long way toward keeping me humble
mm,
because it's really hard, and that's not a bad self check to have once in a while, that humble thing. But I do love it, so I'm going to keep practicing. But yeah, it takes a whole different part of my brain. It's like therapy.
sure. Oh, that's really, really cool and creative. Um, I'm passionate about music as well. I have a band, so I love that.
Oh, we'll
That
have to
yes,
touch
we'll have to
upon that.
talk, a mom band. But that outlet, I think, definitely having those outside creative outlets definitely help, I think, overall with different parts of your brain and fulfillment, especially balancing work.
All right, do I get to ask about the name of your band?
Oh, Mama Drama.
Mama
So
Drama, I
that's why
love
I
it.
first thought you said drama, Rama.
I think that was a band
It
back
was
in
a
the
band,
80s,
yes,
right?
yes.
What is, do you sing? Do you
Oh,
play?
so I play guitar. So there's 6 moms. We've been around for 10 years.
I love it.
So, yeah, so we'll definitely have to talk
We'll
more
trade websites.
about that. But I no, I love your story, and we're so excited we connected with you, and we instantly felt that connection when we met you. And thank you for sharing. It's just so wonderful just to hear about your journey and how fellow PR agency owners are navigating this changing world. And where can listeners find out more about Caryl Communications online?
Sure. Well, first, Carrie, thank you so much for having me on because
Oh,
it has been so much fun. And I am grateful that I'm looking forward to our continued connection. Yeah, yes. In terms of finding us, yeah, our website is www.caryl, which is spelled CARYL.com. We're active on social media. I would
mhm.
love to, chat with anybody who might have questions about PR or plastering old walls. So
Jewelry making.
would love to connect on LinkedIn. That would be great.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much, Sandy. We really appreciate it. The whole team says hello, and we're just thrilled to have had you as a guest today.
Well, thank you so much again. It's been a pleasure.